Hi, I'm Mary Flower, and we're here to talk about the 12-bar blues. That does not mean you have to go to 12 bars and drink to play this. This means 12 bars, 12 measures, 4 beats per measure. And I'm just going to play through this in the key of A, just with strumming 4 beats per measure to give you an idea of the overall feel of this. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Third measure, fourth measure. Here comes the D7. Back to the A or A7. E7. And back to A7. Okay, that's our basic 12-bar blues and the organization of the chords that fall in there. And now we're going to put this with what I call, and what many people call, the dead thumb, which means the thumb hits the bass string or the root of the chord 4 times per measure. We're going to do a little bit of syncopation. We're going to start with a long A shape, pinky stretched up to the 5th fret, and then our second little chord will be the basic A7. So you have a little bit of movement there. It gives it a nice kind of bluesy feel without doing a whole lot. So we're going to start with 8th notes against that quarter note in the bass. So it will sound like 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then I switch to the A7 and do the same thing. Starts with a pinch, pinch and thumb, pinch and thumb, pinch and switch to the D7. I'm going to take the finger off the 2nd string. Back to the long A. E7 with 3 fingers down. Picking the 2nd string, then the 1st string. Moving to the 1st string. And back to the long A and the A7. That's a real simple thing you can do there to kind of have a little bit of movement. We're going to take it a little further here. We're going to look at these little 2-string chords. I call this our sort of imitation of Freddie Green licks, who was a great jazz player who used mostly two-string chords or 3-string chords. So our A7, we're just going to take that little portion of the long A7, first 2 strings, that's going to be our A chord. For D, it's all within a fret. We're going to go down toward the headstock 1/2 step. And for the E, we'll be up on the 3rd fret, coming from this chord, which is a D7 shape, and back to the A7. So putting that into context, it might sound like this. We don't have this written out, but here's how I might play it. Take it down a 1/2 step for the D7. Back to the A. To the 3rd fret for the E7. And back to the A. Okay, so that's kind of a cool little thing you can do there. So we got 2 shapes there. We've got the A7 shape, the D7 shape, and the recycled D7 shape at the 3rd fret. Now we're going to take that recycled shape up to the 8th fret. And it's a D7 shape. Once again, we're just going to take the first 2 strings of that triangle shape. And we're going to now put this into context of the 12-bar, going down a 1/2 step for the 4 chord, up a 1/2 step for the 5 chord. So it will sound something like this. I'm going to do a little movement with that. 2, 3, 4. muting the bass if you can. I'm going to go down a half step and get my 4th string in the bass and back up. Take it a half step higher and use 6 as your root. And back to A. So these little pieces that we're learning can all be played together. You can take these as riffs that you can do to sort of jam with. You can do anything you want with them, but they can also all be played together. So if you have 5 people sitting around, each person can take one of these little phrases and they all work together. So, so the next thing we're going to learn is this sort of a Howlin' Wolf sounding lick. Using the 1st and 3rd fingers. Fingering is pretty important. We're going to slide up maybe distance of a fret and play that little long shape right there. Index finger on the 1st string, 3rd finger on the 2nd string. So here it comes with the bass. Same lick fits over the 4 chord. Back to the 1. Here it comes with the E in the bass. And back to A. So that's a really nice little lick that works over all 3 roots in the bass. And easy enough to play. Now we're going to do a little, we're going to go back to this A7 up here at the 8th fret was a D7 shape. This time we're going to use only strings 2 and 3 with your 1st and 2nd finger. I call that a slant chord, slanted with the frets. We're going to move that to the 7th fret for a straight shape, parallel to the frets, back to a slant shape at 5. So I'm using, this is the way I like to do it, fingers fingers 1 and 2, fingers 2 and 3, fingers 1 and 2. So that's going to be our little A riff. So it's going to sound like anything you want to do with this, but I would play it like this. Now it's time for the D. And what we'll do is take that up to the 13th fret. If you got a cutaway, it's going to be a little bit easier. But here you are up here at 13 and 14. We'll do the same thing. Slant, straight, slant at the 10th fret. Slant, 12th fret straight, and 10th fret slant. So it sounds like this with the D in the bass. And back to the A. Now it's time for the E, and once again we're going to take from that shape that you know, the D7 shape, using 6 as your root in the bass. Slant, straight, slant, straight. So notice when we get down here we can't go any lower, so we're just going to use the index finger on the 3rd string and back to the A. So let me put that in context for you. I might do a slide. I could certainly do a hammer on there. Time for the E. that gets you out of first position. You're moving up the neck. A lot of people have a fear of this portion of the neck, and you find that there are chords that you know the shapes of down here. You recycle up here, and not so difficult. So we're going to add a little boogie-woogie bass to this, and this will be the last part of this 5 ways in the key of A. And it starts with a little bit of a bar. I really only care that I'm barring strings 3 and 4 at the 2nd fret. And that leaves these fingers free to do some work on the 5th string and the 6th string. So here we go. Starts with the thumb on 5, a little up strum with your index finger on those 2 barred notes. So in slow motion, I've got a bass, upstroke, 3rd fret, 4th fret, another upstroke, open 6th string, 3rd fret, 4th fret. I'm going to just hold down 2 fingers of the D chord, the 2nd and 3rd string, so I can reach over with that 2nd finger and use my pinky. Same licks here. Back to A. Here comes an E. I'm just going to bar. We're kind of running out of strings for this particular one, but hold down the little bar on the 4th and 5th strings. And back to A. So here's that whole segment. So you can mix and match any of these the way you want to do it. This is the glory of being in the key of A. It's all about having 3 bass strings that are open, so you can stretch up the neck a little bit and get out of first position and play something more interesting. So have fun with these little licks that you can do in 12-bar blues in the key of A. Thanks for watching.